Hello guys, let's begin. So in this video I have to start from here, but first let's revise what we did in the previous video. So previous video I had started from Constitution, Roles and Impartiality, wherein we saw Supreme Court, 24 High Courts, and we read about Article 129, Article 141. Then the important work or role of judiciary, and India is a federation, that is union of states, center and state level, right? And it may happen that there is a dispute between two common people, between a person and government, between a person and central government policy, between a state government and another state government, between central government and state government. So between any two set of people, dispute may arise, and that dispute can be adjudicated or resolved by the judiciary, right? So we had done till here, wherein we saw three doctrines and basic structure part also I had discussed with you. Now let's begin. While the power of Parliament to legislate is supreme, at the same time judiciary has been made the watchdog of Indian judiciary. Watchdog means as the dog guards the house of his master, similarly judiciary has to guard or has to protect the democracy that is established in our country. Okay, so that means judiciary has to see that any of the government decision or policy does not go against the democracy, does not go against the constitutional principles. That is the meaning of judiciary being the watchdog of Indian democracy. Parliament's work is to legislate, that means to frame laws, to frame legislations so that there may be less crimes or there may be a harmonious situation to survive in Indian society. But then too disputes are bound to happen. So to resolve the disputes, to protect democracy, to protect to prevent Parliament from making arbitrary laws, that is the work of judiciary. Role of judiciary has been ever changing and has evolved based on constitution and socio-economic needs of the country. The phrase basic structure was introduced for the first time in Golaknath case, Golaknath versus State of Punjab. Now you see, remember this thing, these are some landmark judgments. Golaknath, Keshwanand Bharati, these are landmark judgments. The whole name of that is Golaknath versus State of Punjab. AIR number you don't need to remember. Okay? So the first time this basic structure word was used in Golaknath case, but in 1973 this phrase was used by Supreme Court, and it means and includes those features which lay at its core requiring much more than the usual procedures to change them. It was held in historic Keshwanand Bharati case that any amendment which aims at abrogating the basic structure of constitution would be unconstitutional. Hence, every proposed amendment is subject to judicial scrutiny if it is aimed at abrogating the basic structure. Now, this means that although first time this phrase was introduced in Golaknath versus State of Punjab, but in 1973, in Keshwanand Bharati case, it was held that any amendment or any act or any legislation which is framed, which is brought by the Parliament of India, and any of the principle of that legislation is against the basic structure of Indian constitution, or it is going against the principles which are a part of basic structure of Indian Constitution, then that amendment will be declared unconstitutional. Okay, so and how you have to check it? Judiciary checks it. So every amendment that is, like I had pointed out, that I feel this particular principle of this amendment act is going against the basic structure of Indian Constitution, then I will file a case in Supreme Court. Okay, and then there will be judicial review of that amendment act. Judicial review means judiciary will view that amendment again, review. The word is review. Re means again, view means to see. So the judiciary or the court will see it again. They will match that whether all the principles of the Amendment Act is at par, is according to the Constitution or not. Since I have claimed that this particular principle is violating the basic structure, जो बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर में दिया हुआ है उसके अगेंस्ट है ये प्रिंसिपल, तो क्या वो चीज़ सच में अगेंस्ट है या नहीं, उसको चेक करने के लिए कोर्ट अगेन उसको व्यू करेगा. ठीक है, and if they find that yes, the principle is going against the basic structure, then that amendment or that part of amendment will be declared null and void. उसका कोई मतलब नहीं रह जाएगा. Constituent elements of basic structure include supremacy of constitution, that constitution is the supreme law making body above the parliament, above the central government, above the PM, the President of India. We have constitution. It is above all. So this is what basic structure includes. So remember, this is all that basic structure includes. If somebody asks you what is the basic structure, क्या क्या आता है उसमें, so you have to remember supremacy of constitution, republican and democratic form of government. Everybody knows India is a democratic form of government India has, and we have a republic also. In our preamble also it is given. Secular character, there is no official state religion of India. Every religion is treated with equal respect. Every religion is at the same level. That is what secular means. Separation of powers between the three organs of government. Primarily the federal character. Federal, union of states hai. India is a union of states. There are 28 states and 9 union territories in India. This is the updated data, right? So that means there is a central government at the national level, and there are various states which have their respective governments, right? So this is known as federalism. In addition, judiciary has power of judicial review that I told you about. It implies that every piece of legislation passed by parliament is subject to judicial scrutiny by Supreme Court. Now remember, since parliament is passing it, it is at the national level. Any law or any act which is passed by parliament has its jurisdiction over the entire country. So, if there is any dispute by any legislation which is passed by the parliament and you want that it should be reviewed by the court, तो किस कोर्ट में जाएंगे? सुप्रीम कोर्ट में. बात समझ में आ रही है? क्योंकि ये मैटर नेशनल लेवल का है, इसलिए आप नेशनल लेवल के कोर्ट पे ही रेफर करेंगे. No specific provisions exist for this arrangement. However, the power and extent of judicial review has been clarified through judicial pronouncements. Supreme Court of India has power to strike down any piece of legislation aimed at amending the Indian Constitution on two grounds. Now we will see that what are the two grounds or what are the two criterion in which Supreme Court can strike down, can declare any piece of legislation to be null and void. Null and void, or in other terms you can say unconstitutional. Unconstitutional means which goes against the Indian Constitution. And since Constitution is the supreme law making body, so you can't do anything, you can't frame any law which is against the principles of Indian Constitution. Moreover, you cannot frame any law that disturbs the basic structure of Indian constitution. Basic structure, नाम से ही पता चला, that is so basic, so fundamental of the whole document. अगर आप उसको ही चेंज कर देंगे तो पूरे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डॉक्यूमेंट का मतलब नहीं रह जाएगा. अगर आप जड़ निकाल दो, रूट्स निकाल दो पेड़ की, पेड़ उग नहीं पाएगा. सो दैट इज द बेसिक पार्ट. What is the first reason? If procedure prescribed under Article 368 is not followed, and second, if amending act seeks to violate one or more basic features of constitution. So Article 368, I told you to find out what is there in Article 368. I don't know whether you have done it or not, or how many of you have genuinely found that. But I'm telling it to you again. Please do it today if you haven't done earlier. Try to find out what Article 368 contains. Article 368 has the procedure which is prescribed that how any legislation has to be framed. Discussion in Lok Sabha, discussion in Rajya Sabha, how much majority, then the sign by president, all that stuff. Okay, so if that due procedure is not followed, अगर लोकसभा में डिस्कस हुआ जहाँ पर गवर्नमेंट की मेजॉरिटी थी, वहाँ उन्होंने डिस्कस किया और सीधा प्रेसिडेंट को भेज दिया कि साइन करो. राज्यसभा में डिस्कस ही नहीं हुआ, ये राज्यसभा में मेजॉरिटी नहीं मिली, तब भी वो प्रेसिडेंट के पास साइन होने के लिए पहुँच गया. So this is not the correct procedure which is followed. So if the procedure is not followed, then you can strike the piece of legislation. Otherwise, the second reason of striking down the legislation can be that if that legislation is violating the basic structure. In India, in addition to above, judiciary has a significant function of protecting and enforcing fundamental rights. Supreme Court keeps a watch on functions of other limbs of state. Limbs means other parts of state, as to whether they are working in accordance with constitution and other laws made by parliament and state legislatures. So Supreme Court can also see कि जो state legislatures है, उत्तर प्रदेश का legislature होगा, मध्य प्रदेश का एक legislature होगा, वो सब सही से काम कर रहे हैं या नहीं. कहीं उन्होंने तो कोई ऐसा एक्ट नहीं बना दिया जो इक्वालिटी गारंटी नहीं करता है उत्तर प्रदेश के सिटीजन्स के लिए. तो वहाँ पर भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट थ्रू जुडिशियल रिव्यू वर्क कर सकता है. ठीक है, चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस का सिस्टम है इंडिया में. सुप्रीम कोर्ट कैन कीप अ चेक that whether the other two organs of government are doing whatever they are assigned to do by the constitution. They are working only what they are assigned, not what the other organ is assigned. Legislature must not do the work that is assigned to executive by the constitution. So that is checks and balances system. Supreme Court and judicial review. Supreme Court has concurrent jurisdiction with high courts to issue directions, orders, writs for enforcement of fundamental rights. These are in nature of writs of habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari, quo warranto. These make Supreme Court a protector and guarantor of fundamental rights. These we know, if a person feels like his fundamental right is violated, any of his fundamental right is violated, then by filing a writ in Supreme Court by Article 32, that is writ jurisdiction of Supreme Court, it can file a case, the person can file a case and Supreme Court can issue the direction that हाँ यहाँ पर fundamental right violate हुआ है या नहीं violate हुआ है, accordingly वो decision दे सकता है. That is a different thing. So Article 32 of Indian Constitution is writ jurisdiction of Supreme Court, wherein any citizen of India can file a writ before the Supreme Court for enforcement of his fundamental right if he feels that his fundamental right was violated. So Supreme Court or High Courts also are a protector and guarantor of fundamental rights. They are protector. अगर आपका fundamental right violate हुआ है, आप केस फाइल करेंगे, so these courts will be there to help you out. वो आपके rights को protect करेंगे. The idea is that in case of violation of a law or right, Court may issue directions for compliance with Constitution. Obviously, they will work according to Constitution only. Thus, citizens of India are secure as far as fundamental rights are concerned. Supreme Court has power to declare a law passed by legislature null and void if it encroaches upon fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are also a part of basic structure of Indian Constitution. So, if फंडामेंटल राइट इज़ वायलेटेड बाय एनी लेजिस्लेचर, अगर एक सिंगल पर्सन का भी फंडामेंटल राइट वायलेट हुआ है या एक पर्टिकुलर कम्युनिटी का वायलेट हुआ है, तब भी वो कम्युनिटी सुप्रीम कोर्ट में केस फाइल कर सकती है और सुप्रीम कोर्ट उनके फंडामेंटल राइट को प्रोटेक्ट करेगा थ्रू इट्स वर्डिक्ट. It has exercised this power on several occasions. This shows how Supreme Court has always served as guardian of fundamental rights. Further, Supreme Court has also assumed additional duties under a concept called public interest litigation, under which any citizen can bring any matter of general importance to the general public for consideration of Supreme Court. If Supreme Court finds out that executive has been failing in discharge of its duties, it passes the required directions to the concerned authorities in government. So Supreme Court has a wide ambit of functions to perform. Not only to adjudicate the matter, it has to keep a check on the other organs of government. It has to keep the check on the legislations which are framed by the Indian Constitution, by the Parliament, Then it has writ jurisdiction. It has to protect the fundamental rights of the citizens. Then there is a concept of public interest litigation, which was introduced by Justice P. N. Bhagwati. PIL concept was introduced by Justice P. N. Bhagwati. This was an additional information. If you want, you can learn that. It will help you in class 12. So, public interest litigation, I will give you a very brief introduction of that. See, the word itself suggests public interest. Public interest means for the interest of public. If there is a problem that is of general importance for the whole public or for a community, then the representatives or an NGO that works in that area can file a PIL as their representatives. ठीक है? Like if there is a case in which there is a lot of litter and like slum area, if I talk about, there is a lot of litter and people's right to live in a clean environment is getting violated, and obviously it is a general concern. It is a matter of general importance for the whole community which is living in that slum area. So an NGO who is working in that field can help those people out. Now slum people, you can decide what their plight is. They cannot afford to directly file a case in Supreme Court and give those high fees of the lawyers. So their representatives who can't file the cases on their own, their representatives can do the thing for them, right? So that is PIL. A case of general importance for a community, for the general public, can be filed in the Supreme Court. Then if Supreme Court sees that executive is not performing his duties, its functions well, then the required directions can be issued. Appellate jurisdiction will be taken up in the next upcoming video.